And so this young man was telling us how he goes, it was great. She found me the perfect apartment. I wasn't here, so she videotaped everything. She found me this apartment. I chose this apartment, I guess, sight unseen. And he goes, I walked in, everything was done. He said, not only did I have water, heat, but I had cable. And I was listening to it and just thinking about the experience my husband and I had the week before, which was the big argument was he was trying to water and power and all those things for my son. And he was insisting we try to do it online, which is something new. It was only in Portuguese. The translation was very poor. And I was of the mind, let's just go there and do our 6 hours with the book, the lunch. And it ended up being a whole battle between us. Eventually, after a lot of headaches, he was able to figure it out online, but it really took a lot. And listening to this young man and how happy he was and how simple it was, I admitted, I really felt a pang of jealousy. I mean, I'm trying to be happy for him, but it was after what we had gone through.
Why wasn't there when we were trying to come to Portugal? But there you go. Because the Portuguese are taking care of that for you now.
It was a tough week. It was a tough week trying to do it for our son. So, live and learn. Which is don't do it.
Thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned there the one-to-one consultations. How does that work? How can people take advantage of that?
Well, our premium members get a consultation, and one of the advantages are that this is my soup to nuts expression again, which is, you say, so American.
Yes.
But one of the things that Jerry and our team and our dream team really does cover whatever experience you're going to have moving to Portugal, soup to nuts, which means, what was it? It's a dining term from the US, from your first course to your last course. There's nothing that really we haven't covered at this point. And so a lot of people, depending on where they are in their journey, and that's one of the great questions Jerry always asks, where are you in your journey? And they could be anywhere from they're just thinking about it to they already have their visa to we're trying to figure out where we're going to live. They haven't even decided that. One of the great things about this gentleman, and I don't know if it was this gentleman or somebody before him, was they use Casa Portuguesa because it's a sister company of EI. It made a lot of things easier because there was this kind of cross-section where EI knew exactly where they were in the visa process, so they could have the conversation with Casa Portuguesa about when and the best time to make that rental and it's amazing how many intersections there are in the process. And they were very lucky to be using EI and Casa Portuguesa because all those intersections were covered.
Yes.
And one of the things we try to explain to people during the consultations are how to make this so much easier. And, I think that we pretty much cover everything.
There you go. And that's for premium members. So if somebody signs up as a premium member.
Yes. Premium members.
We urge you to do, and also have your inquiries prioritized tonight on this call. Sign up as a premium member, and you'll get that one-to-one treatment and consultation there. I think Gilda is with us now, and I'm not the only one having a few technical challenges, but we are streaming live to YouTube now, and we say a few hellos before we go to the Queen of the Visas, who is responsible for both Casa Portuguesa and EIA. Ola from Texas, Barack's with us again. Susie, Tom Smith in Colorado, where it's 33 degrees at the moment. I'm here from Ohio on my mandated visit to the in-laws. You make it sound like such fun, Tom. Okay. Hello from Los Angeles, from S, from Florida, Amanda. Jean, has the meeting started yet? Yes, well and truly, Jean. Do you have a question for us? Brian's in, hi from the UK, for now at least. Peter's in as well from South Wales. from Cymru, aka South Wales. Cymru Fach. It's just started to rain there. And if you need a US passport, that's a Tom Smith question for Gilda in just a moment. Thank you. Oh, Gary Orgles, still here. You have not got rid of me, says Gary. And hello from Kristen and Andy in the UK. If we got your attention with the soup to nuts expression, that just means A to Z, simply in American dining circles. Gilda, are you there? Perhaps not just yet. I know you've.
Yes, I am now.
There you are. Hello, good evening to you. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I loved to hear Jacqueline selling my services in both my companies.
It's all true. Sometimes this last consultation, I say, Jerry, it sounds like a commercial. I feel like we need to capture this because you're getting these commercials from people who have had the experience of working with you.
Absolutely.
And I just wish you could be on that consultation and hear it.
Gilda, the experience of working with with Casa Portuguesa and Expats Portugal was likened to lying down in a feather bed on the last webinar, where Carolina and Ivana did an amazing job for Casa Portuguesa this evening. So let's go straight to those questions, but not until we found out how you are.
Let me just say something. I had a very stressful day. Very, very stressful day.
You look well on it, if I may say.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I just arrived home after a very stressful day. And I had something very important in my agenda today. It's an exhibition of art that I prepared once a year. And I thought when Astrid told me, oh, can we do the webinar of Casa Portuguesa? I said, yes, of course, of course. I totally forgot that I had the exhibition on the same day, at the same hour.
Okay. You need to be worried because they did a fantastic job.
I know. So when I realized, I was like, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do. And then I said, girls, you really have to do this. And they didn't even blink. They said, Gilda, you have an excellent team. Don't worry about it.
How about that?
And I didn't hear the webinar, but we had a 20 minutes conversation. And I was amazed the way they prepared things. They had the presentation, they were, and I was like, whoa, this is much better than me. So I saw that you were in good hands.
That is the essence of great leadership. I think you've got it nailed there, haven't you? The team saying you've got a great team here, talking about themselves, and then them doing a better job than you think you might do yourself. That's fantastic. If I may say so as well, we'd like to commend to you the idea that if there are any recce's to be done to Madeira or to the Azores, Carolina and Ivana might like to go on those. Okay, if we could just put in a good word for them.
Okay.
How's it? Okay, how's it looking at CEF at the moment and the world of migration? Any updates, any news?
No, not everything is still the same. I think that we are only going to have news when this new agency is going to be there.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So nothing to report from there. I've also glossed over the fact that is the art exhibition your art? Was it of your own work that you were doing today?
No, not my. Okay. No, not mine.
Okay, but you're involved with an art exhibition that presumably you'd like people to go to.
Yes.
Okay, and where is it? Could you tell us a little bit more before we move on to the questions?
It's in Instituto Camões.
Oh, really? Well, no better place to be for culture than that institute. And what sort of work are we talking about?
Okay, so I'm a director of a magazine.
Uh-huh.
It also has to do with migration issues, and each year we invite an artist to make the cover of the magazine every month, and then at the end of the year we have 12 pieces of art, and we make an exhibition at the Instituto Camões, and then the exhibition goes to the other parts of the world, to the Portuguese consulates around the world.
Wonderful. So it's not everybody who can throw into the conversation. I'm a director of a magazine, actually.
Yeah,
so
I am.
well done. And what's the theme? Is it artwork about moving around the world? Is that the idea?
No, no, it's actually the theme is different Portuguese speakers or Portuguese descendants are invited to do the works of art.
That sounds fantastic. And
Yes.
so there you go, the Camões Institute. Check it
Yes.
out, and it'll be traveling around the world soon. That's wonderful. Thank you. I'm glad I asked. Okay, Tom Smith, with the first question for you, Gilda. If you need a US passport renewed, it is taking 10 to 12 weeks for processing. I think this is not necessarily a question, it's a bit of advice from Tom. You can pay $60 to have this expedited to 6 to 8 weeks. This doesn't include mailing time. The reason for this is because of increased demand. Well, that's a good point you make there, Tom. Are you seeing this, Gilda, the problem with Americans and getting their passports renewed?
No, no one has mentioned it to me before. Thank you for.
They're doing what Tom is talking about. So there's a nice little tip. A few of us might take advantage of the American audience here. Ivana and team did a great job, and personally, they are doing a fantastic job on my situation, says Barack. So more great feedback for your team members there. Hi, Gilda from S. Do you have any information about the highly qualified activity visa? Not something we hear a lot about. That's an amazing name, the highly qualified activity visa. Is that for personal trainers or is it for brain boxes? Who's that for?
Well, it's actually for people that have a highly qualified activity. And it can be for someone that is going to join an invitation from an university, or for someone that has a specific job offer that has specific requirements, such as having 5 years of experience in that job, or a master's degree, and it has a minimum wage that it needs to have.
Okay.
To comply that criteria. And yes, we do a lot of that visas because we work with high-tech companies. So we are quite familiar with those type of visas. According to the law, those visas should be issued much faster than the other ones. But not always they respect the law, but supposedly they are issued in 30 days.
This is the blue chip, highly qualified activity visa. Then does it have other names? Because this happens sometimes, doesn't it? There is
D3.
It's the D3. Okay. Right. If we're playing visa top trumps and we need to know about all the specifications of the visas, it's the D3 that is the highly qualified activity visa. We hear about the D2 as well, don't we, from time to time, and D7 and D8. And of course, we're taking questions on all of those this evening. Any others we should know about, or does that basically cover all the common visas into Portugal?
We have the D1, which is the work visa.
Right.
The D2, independent worker or entrepreneur visa. The D3, the highly qualified. And then
what happens to 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, the 4, and then the 4, it's, I guess, the student, or the 6 is the student, and then the 6 or the 4, it's for the family. Okay. I don't know. And then the 7, it's the D7, and then now we have the D8.
So better known by their other names and euphemisms. Okay, great. Thank you for that little bit of insight on those. And thank you for the question, S. Anything else you want to know about the HQA D3? Do let us know. Question from Gary. My pension is due in September, and I've arranged for it to come into my bank account here in Portugal. I've heard that there is no relief, but it is taxed at 10%. Is this true? Is it still 10% on those not mortgages, on those pensions, Gilda?
Yes, it is.
It is 10%. I have a list on car MOT tax and car insurance. These are questions, are they? They may be best. I mean, you can try them tonight. Our specialisms this evening, however, are visas, finding a home through Casa Portuguesa, of course, and the insurance and medical this evening, Gary. So if you've got any questions on those, do pop them in the chat. Question or call for comment. We originally established our appointment with VFS for Washington, D.C. on the 9th Oh, American style 9123. So I'm guessing that's the 1st of September. But my husband needs more time to get work history for the D8. We are trying to cancel our appointment and rebook it for November, but are finding it impossible. The website doesn't show any bookings, and the VFS staff say they can't cancel it for us. We are running in circles with the site and can't seem to see our appointment to cancel, and have tried every browser known to mankind. Has anyone else run into this issue or have a way to do this? Marcy, I mean, if she gets in touch with you, can Marcy get some help on that and turbocharge the process, Gilda?
Yes. Maybe one of our girls, they are used how to do it. I don't know.
Okay, all right. So worth a call.
Yeah, it's better to send an email, and I will address the questions to the team. But
the general point here, you're not. It doesn't sound like you're surprised to hear that cancelling appointments.
No, I heard this before.
Yep. Okay. So Marcy, sorry, we can't give you more help than that, but a call to the EI offices. There might be some special expertise within the team there that you rely on. Alison's question, logistics.
I'm sorry, but what also we can do, it's sometimes we talk to people. I did this on the last 2 calls. I had people that wanted to change want to reschedule because they think that they would not they were not going to match the criteria, and then by looking at the case I found a solution, because sometimes people think that it's not going to be possible.
Yep.
And then looking in another perspective, it is.
I have seen you do this time and time again. So people get fixated on the problem in front of them, don't they? And you've got this overview from your experience and across the whole team where they say, I mean, actually, it happened. Carolina did it. She approached it, one of the questions from a different point of view, and it was like a hack, basically, that cut right through the problem and troubleshot it. So yeah, it's worth having the call. That's for Marcy, and seeing if there's another angle on this particular problem that you haven't thought of yet. My bad, Marcy, on the date thing. I just think it's a point worth making, though, because certainly for us Brits, we do it the other way around. Have you ever found yourself in a mix-up, Gilda, with the dates, the way whether it's the day of the month or the month first? Does that sometimes cause confusion?
Yes.
It does. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So it is best to do it longhand, is it? To call today the 13th of July for the sake of clarity, rather than, well, there isn't a 13th month, is there? But you know what the point I'm making. It's best to be really clear about that if you're an American with the dates. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I had some trouble with that before.
Right. Okay. All right. And that's why I or kind of underline that, is just to make sure everyone's on the same page. Do it longhand with the dates. Marcy, thank you for your question. Logistics. When we arrive at the airport, this is Alison. Good evening to you. Having never hired an Uber there before, does having an Uber account opened in the US work for hiring Portuguese Uber drivers? If so, will they accept euro payments from a Wise card? That you don't want that sort of stress when you arrive. And I don't actually know the answer to that, but I'm sure there are some people in the chat who will. What I'm reminded of, though, is something people need to be aware of. Nuna might have something to say on this. The taxi designations, and it seemed to be trending on Twitter. Is it TVDE that people are looking for that aren't the official taxis, Nuna?
Not the official. So there are the official taxis,
Yes.
And then all the TVDEs are related with the, I'm going to call, network of taxis.
Yes.
So Uber, I know that there are maybe 3 or 4.
Bolt,
Uber, the most known, but yeah, all of them have a plate in the car, has a TVDE.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know what that was until just recently. So that's what you're looking for. We call them mini cabs, I think, in the UK. And you might call them private taxis or cabs in the UK. but that's the distinction between the official black and green cars and the Ubers. And I don't know if anyone on the panel knows the answer to that, whether your app's going to work both sides of the water, or if you need to download the Uber app in Portugal. I suspect you might have to do that.
I think it works. At least mine worked outside of Portugal, and
Oh,
it's
so going the other
Portuguese.
way. You were in America recently then, Anna, and you used the Uber app and it
Yeah,
worked.
and the credit card is yours. It will be paid accordingly.
There you go, Alison.
That was my experience as a tourist abroad, but I believe maybe it's the same.
Yeah, I think
I was going to jump in and say exactly the same thing. I've used my Portuguese registered Uber account to for Uber in the USA without a problem. So I'm guessing it will work the other way.
Yeah, and
Right.
all my guests at the Airbnb uses their own accounts of Uber, and they come from Canada, United States, Australia, South Africa, and they use the Uber account. So no problem about
excellent. Thank you, Jerry and Anna there. Alison, that answers your question, I think. And I think on a more general note, you'll have a Wise card. It's good to have options as well. I mean, get some cash if you can, and maybe have the choice of at least 2 cards in case there is a malfunction of some sort. Not saying there's going to be, but it is good to have backup. Amanda, this is for you, Gilda. On the previous webinar, the lady had the question about her D7 visa appointment in San Francisco in August and her rental agreement not starting until October the 1st. Can you mention this situation to Gilda and see if she can explain? It would seem you have proof of the agreement starting in 1 month that should be enough for the visa. So to backtrack on that and for clarification, Gilda, we had somebody who was going for their appointment in August, but their rental agreement didn't start until October. Carolina had a great workaround for it. But what generally speaking, in principle, how close, how current does the rental agreement have to be when you're going for your VFS appointment? Should it be starting like that the day that you're there to prove that it's in, it's a working tenancy agreement?
It should start when you are going to the VFS. It should be in place when you are going to the VFS appointment. In this case, this lady had a rental agreement that started in October,
Right.
but she had the previous one for 3 months.
Ah, okay. All right. So
Yes.
it needs to be a current and live. Let's call it a live tenancy agreement for the purposes of your VFS appointment. And again, as Carolina suggested, there are ways to look at this, and that's why it's good to get in touch with EI and talk to them about your personal situation. Thanks for that clarification, Gilda. Brian.
Yes, and I know because this client is doing the process with us, so I know the situation.
Very good. Okay, thank you for that, Gilda. What visa should I be looking at to come to Portugal and looking for work? And what are the requirements to qualify? This is from the UK. This is a great question because rocking up, coming to Portugal looking for work on your 90-day tourist visa, that will be the D1 that you mentioned, right, Gilda? But it's a pretty precarious and difficult process, right?
No, now we have a new visa that is called the job seeker visa.
Right.
So you can apply for it in the embassy. There isn't much criteria. They are not very strict on the criteria. You just need to show that you have enough money to stay in Portugal and a place to stay for 4 months, which is the time that the visa is going to be granted for. And then you need to, in that period, I'm sorry, I don't remember if it is 4 months or 6 months, but in that period, you need to find an employment agreement. If you find an employment agreement, you can go to SEF and turn that visa into a resident permit.
Okay.
If not, you need to go back, and then you cannot apply for another residency visa for 1 year.
Wow. Okay. So just to get this perfectly straight then, for example, this person coming from the UK, they have 90 days anyway as a tourist, and they apply for that here or in the consulate in the UK for the job seeker visa?
In the consulate in the UK.
Okay, because all visas must be applied for in the country
Yes.
of origin. So do that. Okay,
That is one option.
Yeah.
Apply in the UK for the job seeker visa, come to Portugal, find a job, and then convert the visa into a resident permit.
Yep.
The other option is come as a tourist, find a job, go back to the country and apply for a work visa.
D1.
But for a D1, but in that case, the company needs to be aware that it's going to take at least 2 months. And the problem is that when the company is hiring someone, in my experience, they don't want to wait 2 months for the person to arrive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So they're more likely to avoid that process and employ someone
Yes.
in that situation. So it would seem that the job seeker visa is a more an easier process technically.
Yes.
Okay, there you go, Brian. That's your answer there. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Gilda, for that. Some great help coming in from the chat with the Uber accounts. Amanda, I've used my US Uber account in Portugal. Anna clarifying the platforms that are known as TVDE, and often you'll see that sign in the car with those letters. They are Cabify, Bolt, and Uber. Others may be available. And Phyllis also on the Uber question, yes, your American Uber account works and will convert to the EU automatically. Yes, it works, says Andy as well. Alison was asking about Wise cards. Wise cards are good to go, but as I said, it's worth having a backup. If we're needing a mortgage, says Barack, for our home, do you need a bank account at that specific bank? Can you shop around for the best interest rate from different places? Not sure how it is done there in Portugal. As Jerry offered earlier on, we can connect you with Jacqueline. I'm wondering, probably from your experience, Gilda, you can speak to this as well. You're probably gonna need a bank account at the bank where you're getting your mortgage, right? They'll insist on that at some point in the process. Did you hear that one, Gilda? This is Barack. Are you needing a mortgage, or when you do need a mortgage, do you need a bank account at that specific bank, or will they lend before you open an account with them?
No, you need to have in that specific bank. What you can do is that you can shop around to see which one will offer the best conditions, and then you open the bank account there.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much for that, and have a chat with Jacqueline as well. I'm sure Barack Jerry will be happy to connect you there. Okay, let's pop over to YouTube, where we've got a nice super chat. Thank you very much from ZE, who has a question for you tonight. So Gilda, we also have a question. The consulate sent us an email last week and asked for us to sign the Portugal police background forms attached. Any idea how long this will take? We've already submitted our Canadian police record. And is the weekly live, just a quickie, is the weekly live always at this time? And yes, Thursday night's the Dream Team session at 9 o'clock Portugal time. So the Portugal police background forms, how long will that take, Gilda?
It should have been gone together with the process.
Okay, so there's a bit of a spanner in the works there that maybe a ZE will need to give us a bit more information.
I want to know, please answer me this. How long after you submit the process did they ask you for those documents?
Okay, ZE, and thank you for your super chat, which will go into the champagne fund that we spoke about on the last webinar.
What is that? I don't know. What is that?
I mentioned the champagne fund. Gilda's slightly puzzled there, having not heard about it and maybe missing out. It's a bit of FOMO there. Don't worry, Gilda. If Jerry meets somebody at the airport with the bottle of champagne chilled for their arrival, I'm sure you'll be invited as well. Is that okay?
Okay.
Absolutely. Except note the word if Jerry meets somebody at the airport.
Exactly. It's a big eye on that if there. And thank you for your super chat, ZE. Nuna, you've got a question, not about insurance, but Connie's asking, what are you doing with the Scouts this year? Scouting movement, in case people don't know, you're involved with the Scouting movement as a Scout leader, and it's a big deal in Portugal, isn't it? Scouting movement is very popular over here. What are you doing this year with the Scouts, Nuna?
Well, so this year, so the last year and the next one, I will not be involved with the patrols directly. So I'll be part of the supportive team of my group because I don't have the time. It's
He's a busy guy. Yes.
Yeah, it's impossible. But even though we had a meeting last night preparing next year that ended at 2 a.m. So today. So people are not aware of how we work so hard. And actually, we are not paid, and we pay to do this kind of volunteer.
Yes.
Volunteer stuff. So yeah, we need to like to do what we do. So I'll be involved on a supportive team to all the patrols and the whole group, and also has I don't like the word teacher. I don't know if he's coach, coaching adults on technical stuff like knots, saws, axes, leadership, teamwork.
Now we're talking. Yes, brilliant.
Like
there you go. That was, I think, Connie who was
Thanks,
asking.
Connie. Thanks, Connie.
And it is a big deal here in Portugal. Saw a bunch of Scouts today, says Hank Stalica, the champion. Hank Stalica. Thanks for joining us tonight, Hank. Good to see you in the YouTube chat. Michael of Serenity. We've heard about Gilda, a support of the art exhibition. Nunu, they're supporting the Scout movement. What do the team at Serenity like to do in their spare time, if that's not too much of a personal question, or any charities that you support?
It is quite personal, but yeah, we don't support charities, but we do support some animal organizations, animal support organizations. So we had today a gathering of dogs in the office. Everybody came to play together.
Excellent.
Which was quite a nice experience. But yeah, we all decided that if we kind of win the Euro Milhões, we're supporting Left Animals organization. I forgot the name of it.
Animal rescue.
Animal rescue, yeah, but there's a name, Zoo, something with Z.
Okay, well, my dogs like the sound of that. They just started barking outside here. We now have a ground floor studio. The dogs are barking in support of that. How is Whiskey, Michael?
He's good. He's totally dead today after this playful day.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good.
Hanging out with all his friends. So there you go. Serenity supporting abandoned animals in Lisbon. And we might find out the name of that organization should anybody else want to support that. Good evening to you, Alan. Hola from Valley Forge, PA. Great to see you here. The Naunu asks, can you suggest any good accountants in Portugal? I guess we could ask this of any of the panelists. I'm in the process of the D2 visa and creating a company in Portugal. Need an accountant for my new company. Check out the business directory for sure, Expats Portugal. Any other advice on that? Accountancy. How have you found that as a foreign? Oh, Gilda, do you have a recommendation? Was that you? And a recommendation?
Yes, I do have.
Okay, but what? Nanu needs to get in touch.
Yes, get in touch with me.
All right. As a foreigner, Michael, what would you suggest when it comes to engaging with the world of accountancy here in Portugal?
Oof. I have to tell you, this is
right.
You have to really jump between couple until you find somebody who is not only a technical person, but rather somebody who thinks on your behalf and plans your tax accordingly, proactively, consults where this consultation is tremendously needed.
Yeah.
Because as an expat, you don't know the bits and bytes of the law, specifically in a new country. You don't know them sometimes in your own country. More than that in a new country, and then what you meet, at least our experience, that we met accountants that were purely technical people, which comes together with the profession. But then if you are lucky enough to find somebody who's proactive and plans your taxes and advises you accordingly along the life of a company or along your financial behavior, that would be a blessing. Seems like we found the first one out of a long series of 4. I'll tell you in a short while if it worked well.
Sage advice: don't make assumptions that it's going to be anything like the country you're coming from. You need to start afresh with an open mind, and probably, as Michael says there, kiss a few frogs. That would be a way of putting it, wouldn't it, before you meet your accountancy prince? Okay, Squire of the Shires.
Huge frogs.
Squire of the Shires Benoit from the UK. Sumin Kim, hi Gilda. I am subject to the 90-180 rule, or am I subject to the 90-180 rule when I travel within Schengen area with a residency card? From Sumim Kim.
So the law doesn't mention it, only says that you need to stay in Portugal, or you need to stay in Portugal. Doesn't mean the Schengen area, but in nowadays it's very difficult to track.
Okay, all right.
We don't know how is it going to be in the future, if they are going to be able to track it or not.
We're assuming we're heading towards more tracking, though, aren't we? I mean, that seems to be
Yeah.
a general rule around the world, isn't it? So for the time being, it's a bit of a grey area. Sumim also asked, can I travel within Schengen with a paper that Seth gave me while waiting for the residency card? That's a good question. Some people have been caught out traveling around with pieces of paper, haven't they? Because other border forces haven't received the memo.
Exactly.
Right. So what to do? I mean, take the risk if you're willing to take a risk.
Yeah, take the risk if you're willing to take the risk, because they are not supposed to recognize a piece of paper from the migration authorities in Portugal.
Okay, so the gold standard is the card and not pieces of paper.
Mhm,
All right, there you go. I
yes.
hope that's helpful, Sumim. Peter is here as well. Peter Horn. I have a D7 visa and I plan to move to Portugal in September. Before I buy a property, I can stay with a relative. I have a TOR, but would prefer to rent. Is it best to contact estate agents? Well, we've got a great answer for you, and it should have been at the last webinar there, Peter Horn. Tell us a little bit about Casa Portuguesa, if you will, please, Gilda.
You can contact Casa Portuguesa, which is a sister company of VI, and we can find you a home,
There you
either
go.
to rent or to buy.
You can, of course, contact estate agents. Some people still have the scars to prove it, Peter. Unfortunately, the earliest I can pop over to Portugal is the second week of August to look for something. I have my Seth appointment mid-September. The thing about Casa Portuguesa is you don't have to pop over. It can all be done for you remotely, Zoom calls, and they'll send you video and pictures of properties from a specification that you supply. I hope that's helpful, Peter. Love the program, says ZE Zakanella from Vancouver, BC, Canada, waiting for our D7. And thank you very much for your earlier super chat. And I think you say also you've just contacted Nuno's office for your insurance needs. You're in good hands there, and you're very thankful for this program. Thank you. Thank you for your comments on our YouTube channel recently. My Italian Therapy, Gina Fiore. Hello all. Gina from upstate New York, moving to Portugal. Great to have all this information and people as referrals. Cheers. Cheers to you. Sold to you. Lev's in from Los Angeles. And I think we dealt with all your questions there, ZE. Do please let me know. Gilda from Connie, what is the Canadian process to legalize the background check for the D7 visa? I'm not sure if it should be mailed directly to the Vancouver consulate from the RCMP, as in the FBI equivalent, or if I do it. What should Connie do with the Canadian process to legalize the background check for the D7?
It needs to go. I think it's not part of the Hague Convention yet.
Okay.
So it needs to be legalized in the consulate.
Right. And Connie is in touch with you, I think, generally speaking. So that needs to be on the agenda, doesn't it, for further conversation with A.
But it's not with me. It needs to be with the visa manager that is with her.
All right. That can all be sorted out on your next call with Connie. Do you guys have someone I could speak to or a website for rental car insurance for 3 months of rental arriving on December the 6th to Lisbon? No, this is for you, really, isn't it? This is probably if Gina Fiore is asking about rental car insurance, that's the extra policy, isn't it? Over and beyond and above what the rental car companies are asking for. Can you provide such a thing, Nuno?
It must be done through the rental company.
Okay, you don't offer a third party one.
Yeah, and they have the plan already scheduled with insurers if you want own damages, which is the deductible, different deductibles.
Mm-hmm.
So ask them what they offer, and they will show you maybe 3-4 alternatives.
There you go.
But it's better. It's the best option.
All right. Gina Fiore, Nuno recommending the rental car own insurance there. I know in UK you can buy a third party one, which gives you an extra bit of cover, but that's not the case, it would appear, from Nuno.
Wow.
Daphne Chan, I'm planning to enter Portugal in August with my travel insurance on a D8 visa. When do I need to purchase the private health insurance, before or after my CEF appointment, Gilda? And I'm sure Nuno knows the answer to this as well.
Before, because you need to show your health insurance for the CEF appointment.
There you go. Just like the tenancy agreement that we talked about before. Daphne, Hank's working in the chat as well. We bought ours before the CEF appointment. Thank you, Hank, says Daphne. You've got, he's an unofficial, like an EI, a volunteer working for you in the chat there. It's the least he can do though, right, Gilda? You're welcome, says Hank. It's required for your appointment. He's very good. Some people have signed up for SNS, but that's a rare from what I've seen. Easiest to get private insurance from him. Speaking, that's from the horse's mouth or from Hank's mouth there. Haven't said thank you in a while, Gilda. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary in Portugal. Thank you.
Who said that?
Hank.
Who is he? In the YouTube.
Yes, that's right. You're not seeing that because it's in the YouTube.
But Hank, you said thanks in 1 year, and I don't see the wine. I never see the wine.
We didn't get an invite to that party, did we, Gilda?
Yeah, not the invite, not champagne, not wine, nothing.
Make it right, Hank. Okay. The magazine is Descendências. Descendências, that's what I said. .pt for the magazine of Gilda there. And Serenity, Michael, that they support União Zoofilia there. Now, a good final question when we come to it in a few minutes' time. We had the fantastic Portuguese sayings last week, and I even made a little clip of it. So that will be on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel soon. Some really interesting information there, inspiring stuff about migration, and also an insight into the Portuguese language and psyche. And we're going to talk about food in just a moment, because that'll be how we finish this evening. Talk of Mexican food there. Are there any other questions though? So get them in quickly. If we've got quick,
I have one news.
Oh, go on. Please go ahead, Gilda.
We are going to have a new office.
Oh, okay. So that is big news. You're in Porto. You're in Lisbon. Where are you going to be opening up?
We are going to open in Lisbon, but a bigger office.
Really? Wow. Okay. And any idea where and what sort of delights we can experience in the new neighborhood?
It's going to be near Marquês de Pombal.
Right.
Not far from where we are, but it's going to be bigger, and it's going to be brand new, decorated, and very cute.
You sound excited about that.
Yeah,
so when Hank comes to that house or the office warming party, he can bring the champagne that he was meant to get.
I don't know if he's going to be invited.
Oh my goodness, it's that bad, Hank. Right, okay. Peder can give us a Welsh saying. Well, I'll give it a go. I'm happy to give it a go, Peder. I've showed off a little bit by approximating your name nearly and saying Cymru earlier on. Maybe I can extend myself to a Welsh saying as well. We shall see. They haven't asked how Mandela is. We talked about with Michael about the office gathering of the dogs. How's Mandela doing?
Mandela is fine.
That's it. And
now I'm going on holidays.
Right. Oh, so
and this time I found an amazing hotel for him. It has
You're not joking,
a bed. No, it has a bed like a baby. It has music and air conditioner. So I think he's going to be very comfortable. At least the place is more comfortable than for many people. So I think that this time I won't have problems with him. I hope.
Well, let's see, because he sounds pretty pampered and spoilt, basically. And if it's not up to his standard, does he get a freshly ironed copy of Diario de Noticias every morning as well? in dog language or something like that. Somebody probably reads it to him.
He has the music, and the music is very calm. I was seeing the other dogs; they were all relaxed, and
But walking about in little white dressing gowns and slippers, but on their way back from the spa. She's not joking. I don't think I can do that Welsh saying. Anyway,
Can I ask a question? Is the music Bach?
Well, hey!
No, it's not. It's not.
Very good, Jerry. Okay, let's go to that final question. Now, I think we're good on the visa questions, the insurance questions, and the medical case management. Make sure you get in touch with Serenity for the medical case management, insurance, Nuno, Winsurance, and of course, anything to do with visas or Casa Portuguesa, you'll be talking to Gilda and team. Wonderful, says Daphne. Wonderful news about the new office. I look forward to seeing it, Gilda. And congratulations, says Squire of the Shires. And Hank, I think trying to back away a little bit from this controversy. Na próxima viagem a Lisboa, trazemos uma garrafa de vinho. So you will be getting your bottle of wine at some point, but the damage might have been done, I'm afraid to say there.
No, we are going to drink one together.
Thank goodness for that. I didn't want to have a bad atmosphere at the end of it.
No, of course
it's
not.
all
I'm so happy today because I just got the keys of the new office. I won't have a fight with Hank.
He is forgiving everybody. Pardons, papal style pardons for everybody.
Unlike the Pope, everyone is forgiven.
You remember where you heard it here first. She's like the Pope. Okay. Peder, if you want to unmute before we do the food question, do you want to unmute and talk to us in Welsh? Do you fancy doing that?
Yeah, beth mae I weithio ti, lla siarad Cymraeg, ti trwy'r dydd os ti'n moyn, so ti'n deall dim byd. And the saying is, well, meddai Will wrth yr wal, ond dywedodd y wal, dim byd wrth y Will. Now, that actually translates to, well said Will to the wall, but the wall said nothing to Will.
That's exactly how I was going to say it as well. Peder, who's your pooch there with you?
This is my French girl. This is not only is she a French breed, she's a Pyrenean mountain dog, but she was actually born in French, and she's one of my, wait for it, 11 dogs.
Wow. Okay, you're going to have a very understanding landlord. Or
I'm going to buy.
Fantastic. There you go, everybody. If you've not heard Welsh before, spoken by a native there, thank you so much, Peder, for unmuting and treating us to that.
That's no problem.
So much. Cheers. Right. Back to the last question then. Here we go. Gilda, when we get there in 2026, sorry, so long from now, I will have an open house and make a full spread of Mexican food plus drinks. Now, somebody else in the chat was saying, yeah, same here. Must have Mexican food, native Texan here. Aveiro has a Mexican restaurant and the tacos were very good. Tortillas from Mexico City. However, don't know about other dishes. Bring spices with you. Heard Juela in Porto was good too. Panel, I've got an amazing New Orleans and a Taco Tuesday place now here in San Martino de Porto at the pit stop. It's quite amazing. I had a crab and shrimp and corn on the cob boil last Sunday. It was fantastic. Doesn't sound very nice, but it was absolutely delicious. Let's go to you, Michael. Can you recommend a good Mexican restaurant in Lisbon?
There's one on Príncipe Real, but I would recommend an Israeli one.
Fantastic.
In Bairro Alto.
I'm up for trying that. Baralto for the Israeli. What is the Israeli speciality then, Michael?
Well, actually, Israeli, it's like, it's hummus and tahini, trina, and falafel, etc., etc. They make a wonderful feast over there. It's called tantura. It's in Bairro Alto. Check it online. Great, great, great food.
Love it. Talking about international food tonight. That's fantastic. Cheers, Michael. Thank you for being here. Nunu, and do you know of a good Mexican, or do you have another recommendation for us like Michael's?
Well, I love Portuguese food, but regarding Mexican, I believe that it's still open, a Mexican restaurant near Belém area, so it's near the river, and it's pretty good, and the view is also good. You can do a walk near the sea, near the river. Yeah, I don't remember the name, but if you search
Siesta.
Okay.
Siesta.
Okay.
That's in Algés. The one in Algés near the tower, the port tower.
The tower.
That is,
yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's called the Siesta.
And
yes,
I know how much that hurt, Nuno, as a Portuguese man, having to recommend another nationality's food. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, no, nothing. Also, the name of the restaurant, I like a lot. Siesta is nap.
Very good. Thank you for that, Nuno. Anna, while you're here, do you want to make a recommendation, or Mexican or otherwise?
Yeah, well, in Cascais, of course, we
Really?
have a lot of good restaurants, including Mexicans. I like the one that is called Mala Copa, and there's another one called El Señor, but my favorite is Siesta, which is in Algés. So
we're loving that
halfway between Cascais and Lisbon.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for being here tonight as well. Really appreciate you. And Gilda, who also likes Siesta as well. So anything else to add to that, Gilda?
I like Siesta, but I've liked more, because my favorite dessert used to be on Siesta, but they changed. They don't have it anymore. Oh. And I begged for it to come, and they did it again for a certain time, and now they don't do it anymore. And I went there and said, please, this was the best dessert in town. Why did you take it from the menu?
Yeah,
and they said, everyone keeps saying that, so it's because it's true. Why did you take it out of the menu? So now I don't like it so much because of that. But they're
not forgiven.
But they still have very good margaritas.
There you go. All right, Barak. And it wasn't Mexican Israeli food. They were two different types of cuisine. There's also,
but I loved Barak. What Barak says.
It's amazing what's come up tonight. And there's a good Mexican Tex-Mex style in Caldas Terreña. I don't know about that. I need to know about that. If you could drop me a line. And I can't possibly ask this question now at 3 minutes past 10. Can you imagine if I ask the Portuguese people here which restaurant has the best bacalhau casserole? We will be here for another hour. So why don't you remind me next week, Connie, and we'll ask again, because that's fighting talk here in Portugal. Gilda, thank you so much. Please send our best to the team, and especially Carolina and Hevano, who was amazing tonight. And congratulations on your new office and the new exhibition. Over to you, Jerry.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Gilda. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Nuno. Thank you very much indeed. Gilda, I look forward to meeting you in your new office next time. I'm excited for you about that. That's wonderful news. Congratulations. Next week at the earlier slot at 7:30 Lisbon time, we'll be talking about transporting pets in absolute luxury by private jet, and obviously that would be a standard that Mandela would have to have. Whether he gets upgraded to first class or not, we'll leave that to Gilda, but that's what we'll be talking about. And although it sounds a very expensive thing to do, it doesn't have to be, because you can just take a seat in a jet along with a bunch of other people and a bunch of other animals. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And of course, we'll be back here on at 9 p.m. Lisbon time with our dream team. Although we might go a little bit light because we're now moving into holiday time. Gilda's going to be away and relaxing on a beach somewhere, Gilda, I hope.
She's already
No.
First 2 weeks of August.
fair enough.
Oh, okay. So you'll be around. Okay, so we've got a little bit more time before the team gets light. So thank you all very
but
much.
I have a team, as you can see. They can do this without me.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And really, they did a great job tonight. Congratulations on that. So thank you all very much. Thanks for your contributions. Thanks for your membership. And we'll keep up the good work, won't we, Jackie? And Carl. See you.
See ya. From soup to nuts. We're with you all the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the nuts.
A lot of fun.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll leave it right there. Thanks, Drew. And we'll see you next week. Over to Jerry for the final. His catchphrase.
See you in
Portugal.
Ciao, ciao.